We have got three amazing matchups tonight: Monday Night Football, the ALCS, and NLCS. I've got a best bet in each one of those games. Watch this video and you're going to get it. Let's go. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living, back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag together and make some money. Our last video was on Thursday. As Friday, I did not have a show. Was not a big fan of the college football slate. And on Thursday night, we did finish the other night, another 1-1 day. We cashed on the Phillies run line. No sweat bet there. They closed out the Braves. We did lose on Isaiah Pacheco over 16.5 carries as he only finished with 16. Lost on the hook right there. We did almost have a chance to cover late, but you hate to see it. 1-1 on the day. You can see our day record right here. Still crushing it, still killing it. We're about to get hot this week. We got a full slate of baseball, football, this entire week going on, so we should be able to get a lot of bets in. We should be able to get this record up for this month of October. So make sure you guys are pressing that like button and subscribing to the channel. This way you guys can stay up to date on all the latest picks and plays. So let's dive into our first best bet of the day. For our first best bet of the day, we're going to go to that Monday Night Football matchup between the Cowboys and the Chargers, two teams that America loves, but truthfully, I hate both of these teams. I think they're the two most overrated franchises in the NFL. Every year in the offseason, we hear some type of hype and hoopla about these teams. They come in with all this Super Bowl chatter like this is the year, Justin Herbert, Cowboys defense, Dak Prescott. Listen, every year both of these teams fall short. They never get it done. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Both of these teams have great players. They have a great team. They show moments of brilliance. They win tough games, but there's always just like one little piece missing. There's always just like one thing that's kind of like not completing the loop that gets these teams over the hump. And right now, when you look at the overall scope of both of these teams, I think in 2023, the identities of these teams are kind of being shaped right now. This is a big make or break point right now where they are in their season. First, the Cowboys are coming off a 42-10 butt whooping from the 49ers last week, and the Chargers are coming into this matchup as they're trying to find themselves coming off a bye week, but also they find themselves trying to go over 500 for the first time this year. So you can kind of see how both of these teams are trying to find their identity, especially as the divisional races are starting to take shape. You're starting to get into those divisional matchups. Each game is a lot more crucial now. Injuries are starting to play a factor with both of these teams as well. So this is just a big game, and because of that, I think this game is going to have like a playoff atmosphere to it. I think there's going to be a lot of intensity. It's a primetime matchup. Both of these teams know what's at stake. This could be a potential Super Bowl matchup people are talking about. I don't think so. I think both of these teams have that caliber to give us that type of matchup today. So because of that intensity, I think that both of these teams actually can win. I think the Cowboys can win. I think that the Chargers can win. Right now, we're seeing the Cowboys are favored -2 on the spread, and I just can't get to the window with that. I'm just going to go with a teaser, and I'm going to go with the Chargers +8, and I'm going to buy the 6 points on the under as well. So I'm going to go under 57. So buy the 6 points on the Chargers +2 to get you the Chargers +8. So we get that touchdown tease there, and then we also get that under 57. Now, Chargers are at home, so that's why I'm going with the +2 here. I always like them, but I also like the fact that they're coming off of a bye week. Now, I don't think the data is as strong as you might think that teams that are coming off a bye week are as good as people assume, especially against the spread. But the biggest thing that I do like here is that they're getting back Austin Eckler. He's been missed the last few games with an injury. With the bye week, he had the ability to rest up. He had the ability to get healthy, and now he's back. And that's big for this offense as Austin Eckler makes an impact, not just in the running game, but in the passing game as well. He's one of Herbert's favorite targets, always likes that little dump off, that little screen pass. They love to run that action to get Eckler going in the passing game. So this is really big for this Chargers offense to really be able to get him back. And again, coming off a bye week at home, I do believe that they're able to cover this touchdown spread. Now, can the Cowboys win this game? Absolutely. They have all the pieces to do it, but the question becomes, what type of Cowboys team are we getting? What kind of Cowboys offense? What type of Dak Prescott are we getting? Are we going to get the guy who's going to throw interceptions, or are we going to get the guy who's going to move the ball down the field, right? That's the type of team that we're trying to figure out that we're going to get. So because I can't predict this Cowboys offense, even though the Chargers secondary is absolutely god-awful and Dak Prescott should be able to have a field day, I do think that we should get a lower scoring affair in this one. The Cowboys defense needs to make a statement after giving up 42 points last week to a team that embarrassed embarrass them by wearing t-shirts that say F Dallas, right? And then on top of that, we saw yesterday the 49ers lost outright to the Browns, to a backup quarterback, and the Browns only gave up 17 points in that matchup. So you talk about the Cowboys, who have one of the best defenses in the NFL and tout themselves as the best defense. Now they give up 42 points to a team that yesterday only scored 17 points. I mean, that's kind of interesting, right? So I think the Cowboys take that personally in this matchup. I think they come out with that intensity. I think they play hard. Their defense shows up, which is going to keep this Chargers offense at bay. But again, what type of Cowboys offense are we going to get? Not 100% sure about that. So I do think that this one's going to be a lower scoring affair. 51 points is a ton of points, especially for a primetime matchup. And then another area of concern for me is the fact that the Cowboys offense, they have not really been getting it done inside the red zone. Red zone conversion is huge in the NFL. Settling for 3 points where you can get 7 points is really the biggest differentiator between certain games and certain teams, and winning or losing when it comes down to the fourth quarter. The Cowboys have only converted 37% of their red zone trips into touchdowns, which is the 6th worst in the NFL. And trust me, it doesn't get any easier against this Chargers defense, because they're ranked 9th in the red zone with a 50% touchdown conversion rate allowed. So that means that they're really strong when they're backed inside that red zone, when they're locked into the sticks in the 20-yard, 10-yard range. I like the Chargers there, and I think because of that, I think this is going to be a matchup where we're not going to see the high-flying, long, deep balls that most people think that we are going to get. I think they're going to be touchdowns scored, but I think this might come down to a field goal or two down the stretch, and I think we're going to have a lower scoring affair. And then you guys just know, primetime unders have been absolutely cash money this year. According to the Action Labs data, since 2005, primetime unders with a total of 49 or more is 103, 76, and 2. So that's a 57% angle, so that makes it a very profitable trend right there. Total of 51 is just way too high, so let's just buy the insurance on both sides. Chargers +8, let's get the touchdown insurance there, and let's get the extra points there on the under 57. Teaser -120 as our first best bet of the day. For our second best bet of the day, we're going to head over to the ALCS matchup between the Rangers and the Astros. And we saw game one kick off last night. We saw a masterclass from Jordan Montgomery for the Rangers. He gave them that early series lead as he pitched shutout innings. The bullpen came in, did what they needed to do. The Rangers win that game 2-0. Now we've got game two tonight at 4 o'clock. Well, this afternoon, I should say, at 4 o'clock. And we've got another great pitching matchup. We've got Framber Valdez on the mound for the Astros. We've got Nathan Eovaldi on the mound for the Rangers. Now, Nathan Eovaldi, this guy, I can't lie to you, I was wrong about him to get this postseason started, but he has been absolutely killer for this Texas Rangers team. He struggled in the regular season down the stretch, not only against his Astros team when he faced them, but just in general during the back half of the season. He was dealing with a lot of injuries, so the Rangers decided to put him on the IL for a few weeks, let him get healthy, deal with those nagging injuries, and since he's been back in the postseason, he has been absolutely dialed in. He's 2-0 so far this postseason, 1.32 ERA, and he's given up 1 earned run in both of his starts in this playoffs against the Rays and the Orioles. Two great teams right there to go with 15 strikeouts. You love to see that. Now, on the other side, are the Astros going to bounce back? Yes. Do they get swept? Absolutely not. Do they drop both of these games at home? I'm not 100% sure. What I am sure about is that if the Astros are going to win this game, I think it's going to happen late. So because of that, I'm going to take the Rangers on the first 5 money line. And not only because of the great form that Nathan Eovaldi has been in, but just because of how inconsistent and bad Framber Valdez has looked. I mean, after he threw that no-hitter, truthfully, he has not looked the same. He just hasn't looked good. And he struggled down the back half of the season. And when you look at his numbers, the month of September wasn't that good. He had an ERA close to 4 in the month of September, which was his second worst month ERA-wise this entire season. And then we saw him in his first start in the postseason, which happened in Game 2 against the Twins in the divisional series matchup. And guess what happened? Gave up 7 hits to go with 5 earned runs and 1 home run in 4 1/3 innings there, which ended up becoming a 6-2 loss for the Astros in that matchup. He just hasn't looked good. 3 straight starts with 3 earned runs or more, and now you've got to face Nathan Eovaldi, a guy who's given up 2 earned runs through 2 complete starts in the postseason. That's going to be a tough ask for him. It's going to be a really big pressure situation for Valdez here. He faces a Rangers team that, despite yesterday only scoring 2 runs, they still have the second most runs per game out of any team this postseason. I don't know if Framber Valdez comes out here and gets it done for this team. I am a little bit concerned about this Rangers bullpen. That's why I'm not taking them on the full game money money line here. I'm just going to match up our starting pitchers here. Let's just go with the Rangers on the first 5 money line. We almost saw yesterday a 2-run home run go out against Chapman, so I can't take that risk with this bullpen, but I am thinking that Eovaldi is going to go deep into this game. He's going to be able to lock it down here. And then also keep in mind that Rangers defense, how solid they've been. Evan Carter yesterday was snagging those fly balls. I mean, if it wasn't for a few of those defensive plays that the Rangers made yesterday, it's a completely different ball game. But I think that the Rangers defense, their hitting power, and then how inconsistent Framber Valdez has been is a recipe for us to be able to cash in on the Rangers first 5 money line. And keep in mind that Valdez is a pitch to contact guy as well, so that also doesn't fare pretty well when you've got guys like Simeon, Seager, Carter, Lowe who can turn on one at any time. So give me Rangers first 5 money line plus 104 on FanDuel, plus 100 value. Can't beat that as our second best bet of the day. Our third and final best bet of the day, I'm going to go with the third and final game of the night, and that is the NLCS matchup between the D-backs and the Phillies. Two teams that had to claw all the way from the wild card round to get here, but we've seen probably the most two dominant teams so far this postseason. They're going to go at it on Monday night, and guess what? We've got the battle of the Zacks. We've got Zach Gallen, the all-star, the leading Cy Young candidate over the last few years, going for the D-backs, and we've got Zach Wheeler, right? Mr. October for the Phillies, the guy who always comes in and gets it done over the last several years, over their last 2 playoff runs. I really like this pitching matchup here. Everyone is going to be locked in on it, dialed in, watching to see how these pitchers look. And right now, the Phillies are the favorite, rightfully so. I mean, Zach Wheeler has been better on the mound. Minus 175 is the odds that I'm seeing on most books. And I think that's pretty steep for a championship series game, especially when you're looking at a player like Zach Gallen who's starting for the opposing team. So because of that, I'm going to go to a player prop, and I'm going to look for a trend that I want to exploit, and that is a trend of Zach Gallen's performances on the road. If you've been tuned into the channel, if you're not, make sure you subscribe. This is where you're getting all the latest videos. You know Zach Gallen is one of the pitchers we backed several times this year. He's made us a lot of money, but most of those times that we've taken Zach Gallen have been when the D-backs are at home, when they're in Phoenix. Why? Because that is when Gallen's most dominant. But on the road, that's when Zach Gallen's had some issues. He's literally pitched identical numbers on the road and at home in terms of innings, a little bit like a few innings here or there difference. But Gallen's ERA literally jumps from 2.47 at home to 4.42 on the road. His home runs, his walks, his opponent batting average, those also go up on the road as well. So because of that, now you have to go into Philadelphia, playing in front of one of the rowdiest crowds in all of baseball and one of the toughest stadiums to play in the postseason against a pitcher like Zach Wheeler, who's been wheeling and dealing. That's a very big ask for Zach Gallen. And even though I do think you could take a look at his earned run line at 2.5, I like the value that we're getting on his hits allowed line at over 4.5. So I'm going to go with Zach Gallen over 4.5 hits allowed, minus 125 odds on DraftKings as my third and final best bet. Now, Gallen has pitched twice so far in this postseason, and he's given up 5 hits to both the Brewers and the Dodgers. So we've seen him go over this total in both of those games. Now, the Phillies on the other side, their lineup has been absolutely on fire. Besides the Rangers, I don't think anybody else has been more on fire than the Phillies. They're not only just getting home runs, we saw that in that series against the Braves, but they're getting extra base hits, they're getting doubles, they're getting triples. They're playing the game the way it's supposed to be played in October. And against every single starting pitcher that the Braves threw at them last series, Phillies were able to get more than 5 hits on each one of those starting pitchers. So you love to see that. They would have covered this in every single game this postseason if it wasn't for Braxton Garrett, where he got pulled from that game in their first series against the Marlins. He only went 2 innings, and the Phillies were still able to get 3 hits off of him. So the Phillies have been able to hit the ball really well this postseason. They have the second most total hits of any team this postseason behind the Rangers, and I think they're going to be able to get to Zach Gallen today for 5 hits. Zach Gallen on the road hasn't been as strong. You're in a big atmosphere, in a big game against the Phillies today. I think the Phillies are going to be able to get some hits off him. Maybe not necessarily get them all the way in for runs, but I do think that they're going to be able to get some hits on him. And then also, I believe Zach Gallen is going to go deep into this game, maybe 5, 6, 7 innings. Keep in mind that this is a best out of 7 series matchup. So bullpens bullpens and the rest are a lot more important in a 4 out of 7 series. Why? Not only do you want your arms to rest, but then the amount of times that a hitter can see a certain pitcher out of the bullpen, it gives the advantage to the hitter. So I think that Zach Gallen is going to go for as far as the D-backs can milk him in this matchup. And if he can go 5-6 innings, I believe that the Phillies should be able to get 5 hits off of him. So I like that line, but you could also take a look at his earned run line over 2.5, as he has struggled on the road as well historically. But like I said, the Phillies should be able to get a few hits. So give me Zach Gallen over 4.5 hits allowed as my third and final best bet of the day. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. 3 bets, 3 winners coming your way. We've got a teaser on the Monday Night Football matchup. Chargers +8, under 57 total points, -120 odds there. Best bet number 2, Rangers first 5 money line, +104 on FanDuel. Double your money at 4 o'clock before we get into the night slate. And then when we get to that night slate, we've got that tuck me in late night play. Zach Gallen over 4.5 hits allowed, -125 odds on DraftKings as our third and final best bet. Listen, we've been overdue for a sweep. It's been a little while. I'm back. I'm locked in, no longer on the road. I got to go to LSU this weekend. Shout out to the Tigers. An amazing atmosphere. We have a ton of new content coming for you on the way, so make sure you guys are subscribed to all the channels, all the socials. You don't want to miss what we got coming up for you all. And as always, dictate your fate. Let's get to that money. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a great night making bread. See y'all later.